Okay, folks, welcome back to the Translator podcast. So happy to be here after so many weeks. And the audience that's listening right now, the ones who have stuck by, listen to every episode of the show, thank you so much. Love it. Going to get you a phone number towards the show to make some comments, questions, anything. I'm going to give you the phone number. You do everything and anything you want with it, except post it as your own. Cool. So let's get into the show. Turn down the volume of my cyberpunk music. Thank you very much. And turn that off for a second here. There we go. So got a good show for you today because I've been doing a lot of recording the stuff that I've experienced since I've been gone. Make little notes of it and stuff like that. So basically I have, like 4 topics today I wanted to touch on, and I think I'll be able to, I wrote them, I actually typed them out on a notepad so I remember them. But yeah, excited about the show, excited about getting back on the mic and to continue to see if we can reach more people. That's really all I want to do here. And for the next, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes, I'll try to entertain you. So here we go. I think, so one funny thing, let me adjust this mic as I'm talking here, that had happened to me. What had happened was, one funny thing that happened to me was I had an Inception dream. If you've seen the movie Inception, I had a dream that was a dream within a dream within a dream. Figured I'd start off with this one because it's kind of interesting. A dream within a dream within a dream. So I actually woke up. I don't remember what the initial dream was, but I had from that dream, I woke up because there was a snake in my bed. There was a boa constrictor in my bed. So I wake up from a dream, and all of a sudden I'm like looking down. I'm kind of having an outer body experience or whatever. I'm kind of like above my body. In a dream you can sometimes see yourself or whatever. So I look down, and there's a boa constrictor, like a huge fat snake, like around my bed. And then I wait, and then I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. All of a sudden, my brother starts knocking on my door, and then banging on my door. And then I hear a drill, like start drilling my door. So my brother's been pissed at me before when we lived together, and he's banged on my door and I wouldn't answer it, and then he's like drilled it apart to try to get. So I was like thinking that was happening, and to all my knowledge, like that was happening. So I actually woke up from the dream with the snake into that happening, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I just had that like 2 dream experience. I'm tired, like I'm not going to answer the door. Like I just started to like nod back off to sleep. Well, I can't remember something else. Well, so then I wake up again, and I might be getting this story mixed up a little bit, but I wake back up again, and then I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna call my brother and see if he actually tried to wake me up, or if that was a dream, because I got to know, because I think I just drifted back off to sleep. I got to see what he wanted, why he was banging on my door. So I go, hey man, why? Like, were you banging on my door this morning because you needed something, or did I dream that? And he's like, no, you completely dreamed that. So I had originally had a dream. I was woken up to that dream by a snake in my bed. Woke up from that dream from somebody banging on my door trying to drill it in, and then that never happened, and I just woke up from that dream, that whole entire series of dreams, and then I finally woke up. So it was crazy. A dream within a dream within a dream. I got some sound effects ready to go today. Do I have the... Okay, let's see if we can do it.
Can you believe
it? Hold on. Gotta wait for this app to start working. So anyway, then I have for you something that is, oh man. So I'm in my car. I'm driving in traffic, and I think it was, I'm chilling, right? So I got I don't even think I had anything playing, but I had my GPS on. Oh my God. I gotta drink some coffee. I had my GPS on, and I'm just chilling. I'm chilling and I'm following my GPS. favorites. That'd be like such a good transition to go to a commercial. Yeah, so I got this awesome, really good app that has like tons of different sound effects for podcasting. And there's some really cool ones in here, like little Zelda action, kind of thing. Or you could be like,
ready, fight, K.O.
Yeah, so it's like
OMG.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this board is
OMG.
So you got that. Now there's some scary shit in here too, I will tell you that. This is how we need to start it. Welcome back to the Translator. I can even mess with my voice in here. Well, oh yeah, this is pretty good. It's like the Addams Family type shit. Oh yeah, and this. Ooh, that's good. And I think you can do two together. Or you can do three together. Anyway, so this is gonna be kind of fun. Here's a good transition. That one says Ninja Shield. All right. So, let's get to topic number 2. Ooh, that's a good transition for topic to topic. All right. Volume. Oh yeah. So here it is. I'm driving down the highway, and I'm just chilling. I'm on the way home, like nighttime maybe. I've got my Siri set to like this, like British Indian woman's accent, and I'm just all of a sudden out of nowhere. She's like, I have nothing on, right? Just my phone's on, but it's like hooked up to the car. What did she say? She says something about, she goes, oh, speed trap ahead. And it's like so loud in my ear. I mean, I guess I had the volume turned up and I'm just chilled. And then all of a sudden, speed trap ahead. Oh man, it just absolutely freaked me out. Absolutely freaked me out. And there was another time that was very similar to that happened this past week where I had my phone hooked up to my car, and it was like, if I don't have any music on, if I have a podcast on and I turn the podcast off, it will automatically transition to my Apple Music. And then I guess the volume was loud. Well, when the phone's plugged into the car versus when it's just Bluetooth, it's got like has different volumes and all. It's weird. It's like whatever, when it's plugged in, it acts strange. Well, there's this one song, and my volume went really high, and it like blasted my eardrums and scared the ever living shit out of me. So that's what happened. Man, it hurts my back when I sit in this chair. I'm gonna have to figure out. That's another thing. I'm getting this new studio space together. My chair. I'm gonna have to get one of those Joe Rogan chairs. Okay, moving right along. I'm going to do a quick one for you today. What if I did 15-minute episodes? Let me give you the number. Leave the comments what you think about a 15-minute episode. It's not enough. It's not enough once a week, but if I did it more than once a week, it'd be pretty dope. Pretty quick. 678-701-5473. Please leave all your questions, comments, anything like that if you want to be on the show, if you don't want to be on the show. But the number to contact us, 678-701-5473. Say what you want, say what you will, and we'll troll you on the show. You know what I'm saying? We'll troll you on the show, okay? We don't have the producer today. It's just me by myself, but we're doing a good job. All right, so, here's a crazy thing. Let me lean back for this one. I want to chill. One thing I've been noticing, let me turn my volume up here a little bit so I can hear myself. One thing I've been noticing about houses, I've been driving in a lot of neighborhoods, and I get very bothered. I'm gonna take it down with y'all a notch, like go a little slower. I think I need to like make this more of a nighttime podcast for some people, maybe. I don't know. Sometimes I'm fired up. Like right now, my heart's racing. And I'm just trying to like not speak too fast. And yeah, so I'm going to put this cough drop in. Promise not to be annoying. And what one thing that it truly does bother me, or that I actually don't understand, maybe, and I'm going to chalk it up to people being tired from their jobs. I'm going to chalk it up to that. But I've seen too many lawns, and I know many lawns in my own neighborhood where these people have plenty of, decent amount of money, They have, I know they're not like crippled, and they're not just like in and out renters. So I guess that goes for all these lawns that I'm going to be talking about. But basically what I'm trying to say is landscaping, the amount of effort that I think some people put into their landscaping is so much different compared to what they put into, for instance, money-wise and time-wise, into the redoing a kitchen, or basically anything else that when it comes to fixing up their house. And one thing that I think is probably always going to bother me is for me, I'm big on curb appeal. I think you can add a lot of value. Let's say that your house is painted and it has everything. Your house has what it needs. It's not broken. Doesn't show any broken glass or broken windows or this. Now, it may be dirty, and I'm going to include that in here. If your house is dirty, if your driveway's dirty, anything that's dirty that could be pressure washed, I'm a huge proponent on pressure washing. I'm like, hire a pressure washer, buy a pressure washer. The thing about working on your house is that you have so much time. Time's on your side. You're living in your house. You're not going to go anywhere. When people buy a house, they usually stay in it for at least 5 years. So the moment you get the house, you're in it, you have 5 years to get it. If you want to sell it, sellable, whatever, add the value, this, that, and the other. But for landscaping, I think it's the first thing and the thing you should maintain most in a house, other than like your AC, and stuff like that. But the cosmetic of the outside of the house is in my opinion, so easy to maintain. You're talking about cut, mow, edge, and blow. Okay. And then you're talking about pressure washing, and you're talking about adding a few, like pine straw or pine nuggets. And the thing is, it's fun. It's actually fun. You go outside. I've seen this recently. I'm not going to say who, but I know there's a house where the grass isn't mowed. There's a dirty side, let's say like a path leading from the front door down. Front door steps are brick. They're covered in mold, which is, for one, it's like a major safety hazard. When it rains, it's extremely wet. You could slip and break your back, break your head, everything. No reason why you wouldn't want to pressure wash that. Make that brick look brand new, and make the sidewalk completely brand new, or the path to the front, and even the driveway. Pressure wash it, make it look brand new. So cheap, so easy to do. And then mow the lawn, edge the lawn, so the lawn's not coming over the outside of your perimeter. So I said, mow, edge, blow it all off. Don't have all this stuff. Rake the leaves that are around your trees. Then, I've seen leaves underneath trees that have been in people's properties for years. Just never even touched them. And they're just piling and piling. And it's just, to me, it's like such low effort. I mean, even if you hired a landscaper to one time to do like these things to your yard, it would take them like a couple hours maybe. And if you had somebody maintain your lawn once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks or whatever it is, and you had them do these things, it would be very easy, and they're not that expensive. So I that's one thing I just never got, and I really enjoy the landscaping spot. So that's maybe why it bothers me so much. But I don't know. What do you think? And It's like when someone is willing to redo. Obviously, you're going to be inside the kitchen. It's people love to redo their kitchens. I'm not a huge proponent on it. It's crazy that somebody's going to take a kitchen that is absolutely fine and go, well, I'm gonna spend, $20,000 changing this space. They don't have the money for it. Let's just say this. They definitely don't have the money for it. They're willing to go into major debt and go, yeah, I think we're going to change what we have that works completely fine. Because I've seen tons of kitchens, and I've seen tons of kitchens where people go, it's not good enough, I need to redo it. It's one thing if you got these cabinets in the kitchen that are taking up a bunch of space, or, they're really old, they're gross, and you want to take them off, or they need to be repainted, or they need to be stained, and you're going to do that. But when it's not the case, and you're just bored with your life, and then you're going to justify that you need it done. That's what you're going to do. Whoever's listening and it's got it done, you're going to justify in one way or the other. And I'd love to hear from you. Let me give you the number again for you folks that are going to get upset. I'll give you the number. Just call in. Let me know what you did. And here it is. And I need to just write this down. Why do I have to keep going back into this? 678-701-5473. And let me know what you did. But typically, it'll just be, oh, we really needed it. We really needed to get it done. It's like, did you really need to get it done? I watched this YouTube video today that was so good. There was this guy who was describing the difference between $25,000, someone who makes $24,000 a year, versus somebody I think who made $40,000 a year, versus somebody who makes $100,000 a year, $1 million a year, and then $24 million a year. I think what it was. And it was talking about the lifestyles of each of those brackets of money. And it was really awesome. This guy was really good at making the video. He was like really calm at explaining it, really smart. And he went through each bracket. And the $24,000 a year bracket, you make above poverty limit. So you can't even get, you can't get food stamps. You can't get any welfare programs, mostly because you actually make more. And that's such a low amount of money, but there's people living on that. And he talks about the food situation. He talks about going out to eat, that's part of it, or not going out to eat. He talks about the stuff that you can afford, like entertainment, restaurants, whatever. And he talks about the type of housings, where you could live, the type of house you could live in or rent, versus the transportation situation, and also like the lifestyle as far as like how many hours you work and how much your time is worth, what bracket you're in, how much your time is worth. So it was so good. And if I had the name, I'd give it to you maybe next show if I can remember it, if I can get it, because I'm going to watch more of his stuff. But it was obviously the whole thing was interesting, but there were parts of it where I think people don't realize, and maybe there was things I didn't realize in there as well, in the 24 to 100,000 a year bracket. I guess I'll start from the top. It was interesting that in order to own a home that's over $1 million, and when I say own, I mean, when I ever say owning a home, what I mean is paying the mortgage on a home, putting a down payment and then paying the mortgage. You don't own the house until you pay back the bank. The bank owns it the whole time. And so I've always been weird about that saying. But you're not renting it necessarily. To own a $1 million or $2 million home, you have to make about $1 million a year. Is the theory there, and that's what he was saying. Most of these, like if you make $1 million a year, then that's what the around the type of houses these people are going for, because they're putting about 33% of their take home or whatever to the home. Their mortgage is that high, and a lot of their other things they're paying for are really high too. So what you see in these different categories of income is like, well, with the 24, $1,000 a year, you're rarely going out to eat, if ever. And if you ever go, you're going to like fast food value menu. Like that's how it is. You're getting ramen at the grocery store. You're getting beans. You're getting rice. You're getting, if you're getting fresh food, you're getting potatoes, stuff like that, and you're getting things that go a long way for very little. You're working all the time. It's a very, very not fun life. You don't have time. You don't have any extra money. And in fact, you're going to be negative. You're already negative, but if anything else happens, like with your health or anything like that, you're super negative. So there's no like winning in that category. I mean, you're just, honestly, you might even be better off just being poor and being on welfare at that point. Now, the only difference in being in that category is you're trying to get to the $40,000 a year bracket or to the $100,000. Now you go to the $40,000 a year bracket, and honestly, I wish I had this pulled up. I wish there was like a chart of all this. I mean, there is somewhere, but this guy's particular breakdown of it all was just so good. I'm going to try and post a video or something. When you get to the $40,000 a year, this is the long section of the show, by the way. We're actually talking something of substance. So if you're into interesting things and you like to get into subjects and like learn something, not like I'm the expert, but this is going to be the long section of the podcast before I go into the last subject of the day and close out for you. But the $40,000 a year, right? So if you're making $40,000 a year around there, that's where you get like still very few out to dinners. You have a little bit better groceries. You have a very unstable car that is going to cost you money at any time. You still don't have that much money for healthcare. Anything could basically break you. You basically are breaking even, and anything that's over that happens, any emergencies, you're going to be negative in the hole. So at $40,000 a year, still not good. We go to $100,000 a year. This is where most people want to be. This is what you're shooting for, because $1 million a year is the 1%. The 100 and maybe it was 25 million a year or 125 million a year. I want to say it was 25 million a year. Is the elite? It's like the elite 1%. The elites of the world. You're like CEOs of major companies and stuff like that, and you're celebrities. Actually, that was the interesting part. The celebrities are like the elite of the 1%. I thought that was like, it's so interesting that you can be like a Brad Pitt or George Clooney or whoever, and the people you're meeting are who have worked to get there or however they've gotten there are making that much money, and that actors are able to make that much money. I mean, if it says, well, if like Robert Downey Jr. is asking for $25 million a movie, well, you're making $25 million basically a year, even though it takes longer than a year to do a movie. But it only takes, the acting maybe like 4 months of acting. I can't even imagine it's that much. And they work in different time slots. But if you're like a Robert Downey Jr., obviously he's got a major career. He's an awesome actor. But it's crazy that you're just an awesome actor, and all of a sudden you get paid $50 million a movie or something like that. So you're making like even more than the ultra billionaires or ultra whatever, the elite. And it's just so wild. So I'll go into that in a second, but the $100,000 a year is where you want to be. It gives you the ability to basically, you're still worried about money, but your worry really comes from, at that point, it would have to be like a major health crisis. It would have to be like you lost your car. Even that you could afford to get another car, it just wouldn't be as fancy. It would have to be, at this point you're putting money in the stock market. It's starting to grow, but it's not. It's where you actually have breathing room. You actually are going to be able to make some headway into savings. This is where you actually get to really have a life, like at $100,000 a year, or around anywhere around like real close to that or more. Then it goes to the $1 million. The $1 million is like I said, up towards the 20. I guess they said the 1%, because that's $1 million a year we're talking. That's what? Yeah, 12, like 120, 100,000. Almost 100,000 a month minus taxes. Yeah. So, actually, let's see what that is. Hey Siri, what is 1 million divided by 12?
Sorry, I didn't get that. Could you restate the question?
See? Hey Siri, what's 1 million divided by 12?
1 million divided by 1,212 is approximately 825.0825.
Hey Siri, what's 1 million divided by 12?
1 million divided by 12 is approximately 83,333.3.
Okay, cool. So it's 83,000 a month. Now, after taxes, I think they said that was like, let's see, 83. I think they said it was like $60,000 a month. But you're talking about $60,000 a month compared to, let's see, that was the million? Yeah, 60,000 a month. So you have so much money you're working with, and so at this point, you basically, there's not many things you're not worried about money at all. It's not even a concern to you. There's a few things that you wouldn't buy. Most of your money is just making you more money. And again, this is only the 1%. Now, these are the people, the million a years that are buying the $1 million homes. These are, if you got somebody that makes 500,000 and above, they're buying $1 million home. They don't have to, and this is sort of the thing, but those are the people that are doing the $1 million homes, because it's not affordable in the 100,000, 200,000, maybe even 250, 300 bracket to buy $1 million home or more, because of how much the mortgage is. And then it's not just the mortgage payment, but everything else is going up too. Usually you gotta, and again, you could probably do it in some aspect if you didn't have like a nice car or two or whatever your lifestyle is. But people always seem to be doing this lifestyle thing. Anyway, so then you have the elite class, which doesn't worry about anything. They'll pay for any kind of art. They'll pay for, there's no, the way that guy described it was so awesome. I'll have to send the clip, but he was like, they rub shoulders with the richest people in the world. They fly first class. They hire private drivers. I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about here, but he kind of goes into it. When you actually hear it all and it's all laid out, it's pretty wild. Think of the Kardashians, basically. And they say that even those people, they would basically, they go shopping just to feel what it's like to be a normal person, because there's so few of people in that class. And there's so, not only that there's so few, but that they just live, they're completely protected from everything. They have zero financial risk the rest of their lives, and they're completely separated from normal reality in most human beings. They don't even ever deal with that. They have their food in their refrigerator that have been prepared and scheduled by a chef, already in the refrigerator, marked when to eat it. Like they have a full staff that cleans their house several times a week. They have, trainers, drivers, assistants, everything. This is the super elite. And but he went through all that, and then he also described, and I didn't really get a real good look at the chart yet, but he described that, I think he said up till 1944 we had a less of a wage gap in the lower and upper class. And then I don't know what he attributed it to, but he said then I guess the classes stopped fighting for themselves, like the lower class stopped fighting for more, equality or whatever the rights were, and then there was a gigantic gap that happened, and that's happening now, as he described. And it's like the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, and just to watch that whole video, no matter where you are, if you're in the 24 or the 40 or the 100 or the million, chances are you're not watching it if you're in the million. You're probably not watching it if you're in the 25 million. But for the rest of those people that make whatever they make, it really kind of, I know when I saw it, I felt so bad for people who have to do certain things that, like, I've done before, and I go in and out of having to being poor and not being poor, or whatever word you want to use, to making little to no money. It's it'll really, if you when you're watching it, if you put yourself in their shoes and you say, well, damn, this could easily be me, and then you go, this could easily and still could be me one day. You'll do everything you can so it won't be, especially after you watch it. And it may help inform you on the decisions you make with your money. Most of the spending habits of the upper classes is really what gets them into the trouble of losing their money. It's interesting how people will move their lifestyle so much higher than they can afford. Or instead of being like, hey, I want more money in the bank, or, I want more protection in case something goes wrong, that instead they'll be driving around in a $75,000 car, going out all the time, all kinds of things. But it is what it is. It was a really cool YouTube, and I'll try to get the name of it. Now let's get away from that, because we talked about it. If you have any questions, definitely call in. But that was kind of tailing off the landscaping, and how many lawns I see, they're just not unkempt, and I'm just go, wow, if you just kept up your lawn, like, your house would look so much better. It would add so much value to your house. I mean, you may not even think, like, when you're selling it, of course you need it to look pristine, but just the self-respect of it. I mean, there's people that don't have houses and will never house out houses, and that's something that just bugs me when I see it, because it's like, just respect your house, man. Oh yeah, then there's this thing we'll wrap up on for today. But I did come prepared today. I will say I listened to my note. I've been taking notes, like, on my voice recorder. So whenever I think of something, I'm in the car, I'll just make a note of it in the voice recorder, and then when I get before a podcast, I'll sit down and I'll listen to all of them, or whatever however many I want for the podcast, and then I'll pull up my notepad in here and type them out as I'm listening to them, as little note reminders to have something good to talk about. Now, hopefully next time we'll have a guest on the show. I've got a new studio here. It's been set up, almost done. I got a few more things to buy. I want to get this brick background for the guest seat. Got a painting to hang. Got some more lights to put up, and some more wood. We got the cameras, good to go. And also the audio equipment's all set up. So we have the mics ready to go, and the headphones are all set, and the gear is all set up. And an extra monitor too, so the guests can take a look at the monitor while we're talking. I can bring up subjects so they know, hey, here's what we're going to talk about, or here's what I'm talking about. You can look at it. They can look at the anything I bring up. So that's going to be a little cool feature for the guests. And if you want to be a guest, then definitely call in too. That'd be awesome. I can do a lot of guests from the phone. I have a really good phone plug, and that's what you hear. Let's give you another example here. This is what you hear. This is my phone linked in. Hold on, I think this is going to give me a
in your face, sucker.
There you go. So these are. Oh, that's an ad. This thing plays ads. I don't like that. But this is linked directly into my phone by Bluetooth, and that's the same with your phone call. So I'm not going to be holding your phone up to the mic. I'm going to be talking in my mic. You'll hear me really good in your phone, especially if you have your earphones in, and you'll be talking, and it's going to come directly into my soundboard. Anyway, I try to do the hallelujah, hallelujah. Schwarzenegger. All right, so it'll sound really good. So if you want to be a guest and you want to call in, also trying to make this new segment where
that was easy.
where I do like check-ins with like certain people. I call them every week on the podcast, same people. I want to have like 3 or 4 of them. And I call in and I go over the same, I'll do like one subject. I'll ask them about all the subjects we talked about. Just to get a separate opinion, or if you just want to be in as a guest, I'll go through the topics with you over the phone. But I'm going to give the number out again right before we get into the last subject. Give it out a lot. 678-701-5473. Okay, I hope I'm not talking too much. All right. Okay, so let's see. Traffic all day and the theory. Oh, yeah. So here we go. This one, I'm going to keep these on here because I want to talk to somebody else about them, see what they think, see what you guys think about this. So I live in a city that now has traffic all day long. So what we have here, we have the morning rush, which is like you know how, like if you, this is all, let's just pretend, let's just call it what it is. Most people work 8:30 to 5 or 8:30 to 5:30. They have to be at the office at 8:30 or 8 or 9. Okay. So that means you're getting up at 7. Hold on. No, actually you're getting up at 6:30 because you have to leave at 7 to get to the office at 8 or 8:30, depending how far you live in traffic. So that means waking up at 6:30. It means going to bed if you want to get a full 8 hours, which is most people need. You're going to bed at 10. Okay, basically you'll fall asleep by 10:30. You wake up at 6:30. You'll have 8 hours if you can even fall asleep that fast. So I want to go into a whole thing about that, about sleep. In fact, I'll probably type that out. The majority of people just aren't getting enough sleep, period. It's like, you wouldn't believe, if you work at 8:30 to 5, it has nothing to do with, it's just how early you have to be there versus traffic. So everything gets all messed up. And then next thing you know, you're just adding on 4 hours just so you can get enough sleep. You're adding on like 3 hours just so you have enough time to like get up, do all the things you need to do, eat, leave, sit in traffic, and then you finally get to the office. It's like so much extra time versus like just starting at whatever time and you're not at an office. But that's a whole other story for a whole other podcast. Okay. I need to drink a lot of water before I do a podcast. Traffic all day. Okay, so here's what I think. Where I live right now, it feels like there's 4 waves of traffic. In fact, I would actually argue that the only time there's not traffic is about, I would say 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night until the next morning rush. So if you wanted to, if you're going anywhere, you're going to want to, make a choice what time of day you're going to go. Now, so the morning rush, again, it's going to be like 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7. Probably people leave probably like 7, but there's been like some 6:30 traffic. So let's say it's 7 o'clock. As soon as you get on the road at 7 o'clock, it's not smooth sailing to get to your job at 8. That's why people leave at 7, because it takes so long to get there by 8. So you got like a 7 o'clock rush hour, 7 to 8, 8 to 9. I'd probably say by like 9:30 maybe it clears up, maybe 10. I'd say probably 9:30, 10, because there's people arriving at the office, like they don't have to be there until 9, sometimes 9:30. And so they're on the road too. So let's say 9:30 it clears up. That's 7 to 9:30. That's 2.5 hours. Now, the next wave comes at I'd say 11:30. I may even say 11. I'm going to say 11 to 2. So this is people that they're taking their lunch break. This is all lunch break people. Office lunch break especially, because it's at noon. You can take it whenever you want for the most part, but people will go, sometimes they'll go an hour early to lunch because they got something to do that's during the lunch hour, so that they'll do an hour before, half an hour before, or they'll do a half hour later or an hour later. Most companies are completely flexible with when you take your lunch break, and you best take it. You've earned it. Some companies are more strict than others, but for the most part, you're going to get a lunch hour rush from 11 to about 1, sometimes 2. let's just call it 1 for now. Let's say 3 hours, or would that be 2 hours really? So it's like 12 to 1, or if you took let's say 3, because that way that covers an hour on both sides. So so we did 2.5 hours of rush hour in the morning, 3 hours of rush at lunch. That's 5.5 hours already of rush of major traffic. So if you want, then after that 1 to 2 rush, now you're looking at, here's the thing, here's the kicker. So now you're just on rush hour the rest of the day. So now school is getting back in. So with school, you have another rush hour. You have buses everywhere, stopping at every single thing, letting people out. You got to wait for the buses. You got tons and tons of traffic because of that. You got parents driving to school, picking up and coming back home, plus the buses. So, and you got schools letting out at different times now. So from 2 o'clock until about 3:30, okay, you have the next rush hour. Now, here's your 4th wave of rush hour. We have 5 waves, folks. The 4th wave of rush hour this is the new one I've discovered. It's upper management and executives at major companies. So there's tons of major companies where I live in most cities, and they have their upper management, especially since COVID and these hybrid models, and like people, upper management and executives, they can come and go as they want for the most part. And they have home offices, and for the most part, it just depends what kind of workload they're doing. They may not be working that hard. They may be. It just depends on the company. A lot of companies are pyramid scans. A lot of companies, all the other people do a lot of the work. The management just manages them, and that's easy to do, especially with all the programs that we have today. So they're leaving, guess what, at 3:30, sometimes even 3. So you're not getting any break between the school and these executives and these managements. And there's a lot of management and executives. So they're leaving. That's a whole new wave of traffic. Okay. Now, that's the wave I couldn't figure out. I'm like, why is there traffic later than kids getting out from school and earlier than the early, because now you have the next wave, the final wave, which is the people leaving work. Now, you had the normal wave, which was like 4:30. They leave like 30 minutes early so they could get ahead of traffic. Well, now everyone started doing that. So now there's no more. Early wave is just the wave. But now people are leaving just even a little earlier. So now you're catching those people at the end of the tail end of the executive team and the upper management. When they're finally home, you got the next wave coming in. They're leaving earlier than 4:30. Now they're leaving at 4:15, 4 o'clock, wanting to get out of there because traffic's so bad. Now the traffic goes from 4 o'clock until 7:30. So that's what you got. You got a 3.5 hour in the afternoon. And I got to say, I think that's the busiest one. Yeah, I think that's the busiest one that I've ever encountered. And it's a hellish nightmare. And I don't wish it upon my worst enemies. Now, the good news is if you're sitting in traffic right now listening to me, you're doing a good thing, and you'll go to heaven if you believe in heaven. If that's where you want to go, that's where you will go. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. Again, let's get you the numbers so you can call in if you want to be a guest on the show. You want to be a smart ass. You want to call in. You want to talk shit. You want to disagree with me. You want to use blasphemy against me. Number is 678-701-5473. Blasphemy all over. Let's see if we can find an outgoing sound for the soundboard. Well, you know what? We'll do it next week so we're all prepared. But I will give you a little bit of outro music as we... Oops, that's not going to work, folks. I did find a really cool program. It's called M-U-B-E-R-T. Bert is the end. Moobert. I think it's Moobert. But this is going to be... This is royalty-free music. It's pretty cool. We're going to work it into the show, maybe into the intro and the outro. And what it is, you can pick your style, and you can, it'll start playing. So Cyberpunk, and then I'll say whether or not I like it. And it's a learning program. So I tell it I like it, and it says it's learning, keep going, and it learns what you like and what you don't like. It's probably very similar to like a Pandora or stuff like that, except for this is not music by artists that you know. This is all royalty-free music, and it's kind of like, I think also it's like this might be AI. So you have like low intensity and high intensity. So here I turned off the low intensity, so now it's going to be a little more high intensity. And then you can change it. We'll do a quick change. Look at this. Oh, you can't. They are artists, but they're not art. It's not art that you have to pay for. So here we go. Let's do this sci-fi. I like the cyberpunk a lot. I'm going to do that. I'll give you a little sample here. Let's see what it is. I haven't heard this yet. Okay, low intensity. Turned on. Let's get it low. It's pretty cool. All right, folks. So thank you so much for listening. I'll be back. I appreciate it. I want to hear all your comments and questions. I hope I did well for you today. What do we get? Shit, we did 46 minutes? That can't be 46 minutes. Man, I got it in my head, huh? All right, well, that's good. So we'll end it right there. And I hope to talk to you next week. Let me know what you want to hear. Let me know what you like. All right. Signing out.